Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and have I got a crucial report to share with you, specifically in regards to alliances that are being formed against America. Not only that, but there is also a presidential nominee, I won't say her name, who has ties to this particular country that is, quote, beefing up their arsenal against America. Now, who is this country doing that? Well, it's China. We know back last year or a few years ago, they started the AII Bank, the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. Now, this bank is a coalition of 57 different nations from all across the world, including Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and China itself, obviously. Now, this particular bank was officially inaugurated January of 2016. They elected their president. They have their full member board. Now, when this was officially brought up to the United States, I know President Barack Obama, and as he should be, was a little bit on edge about the formation of this bank. And what I personally believe the intended direction of this bank was, well, it was a direct attack against America, an alliance of anti-American unification against our country. Now, not only that, but we know the World Bank, which is a New World Order bank made up of 159 different countries. Well, these two banks are somewhat similar, but the AII Bank, many believe, was formed as kind of the opposite end of the World Bank, kind of the competitor, so to speak, or in this case, a failed attempt against America. And whether or not it will ultimately fail, well, right now, obviously, that is the case. But nonetheless, here's the original intent that many believe it was. It was an outright attack against America. Now, obviously, we know in 2015 that America was invited to officially join this AII Bank, but that was only because many believed that the plots were uncovered and it was a failed attempt to go against America. Well, America obviously declined the invitation, but here's the thing we have to keep in mind, and the reason that I want to bring this up is because there has been a lot of talk about this particular bank, and I encourage you to go to their website. I know Canada is being possibly going to be joining as a 58th nation there. But the reason that I bring it up is because China owns about 10% of our debt, statistically speaking. And if they already have that much of a power over us here in America, and now they've started this bank similar to the World Bank, it's a World Bank rival, so to speak, what does that tell you about the key players in the last day? Is China trying to be a superpower and overtake America? I personally believe that that could be an option. So here's the thing I have to ask. Is there a day of a reckoning coming to America? Is there a time that China's going to end up on our doorsteps claiming our debt? Is there a time that this bank is going to blow out of proportion on the World Bank? Well, ultimately, we just don't know. But what I do know is a lot of globalists battle each other, one powerhead against another powerhead, and powerhead fighting powerheads. This is something that we see the globalists doing off and on all the time. Not only that, but we know Miss Hillary Clinton, yes, there she is, has lots of ties to the communist Chinese. She has gone to the country many times, and she, even on her campaign, she has offered to, quote, work with them on topics of interest. But nonetheless, we must ask ourselves, is America ready for a day of a reckoning? I don't know. But what I do know is if Miss Hillary Clinton gets up in the presidency, we're in deep trouble. And I mean like big trouble. Here's why I personally think that. With everything with China, they're almost buddy-buddy. Hillary Clinton will befriend anyone behind the scenes to get a certain accomplished goal. Her friend of an enemy of her An enemy of an enemy is my friend is basically the model that she lives by. Not only that, but we know most recently she's been having a couple health issues once again. So we know that at the 9/11 ceremony, she almost toppled over or fainted or near fainted, her knees buckled. Nonetheless, that goes to show her health condition. But on top of that, if this woman gets into presidency, here's what I foresee could happen just in the very beginning. We know that she wants to push more welfare and tax the rich. Why do you tax the rich? Well, you tax the rich to bring the middle class down. That is what happens like clockwork almost every single time. If you were the owner of business ABC grocery store and you just found out that your taxes went up because, Hillary's taxing the rich, so to speak, well, chances are as a business owner, you're not going to eat that cost. You're going to increase the price of your food in your grocery store and thereby use that to pay the government. So what happens? Well, rich gets richer, poor gets poorer, middle class gets eliminated. That's one thing that I foresee on her tax plan. And she wants to shrink the middle class and have the rich rule over the poor. That is what happened. Not only that, but she wants to increase welfare, have more of a government dependency on our people. And here's what happens with that. And we only have to look to history to find that out. But here's what will happen. If we have more and more people reliant on the government, that will continue to grow. Now, just statistically speaking, people who rely on the welfare have more children than people who are in the workforce. Just a statistic, please don't kill the messenger. But statistically speaking, that is the case. And kids of welfare recipients lots of times end up on welfare themselves. Obviously, not the case for everybody out there. Again, I'm just sharing a statistic. Please don't shoot the messenger. But nonetheless, that is the case. Now, not only that, but here's what happens. You have more of the people start knowing and seeing, hey, the government will pay for this and that for free, and they get coverage. We have lots of immigrants coming in that get free healthcare provided for them. Why not take advantage of that? We have all this burden. Meanwhile, we have the working class who are paying all of that to take place, and more burden ends up on you and I. So what that means is a majority or only so many people are doing the work. And that's going to put more of a burden on the working class. And then eventually, since the welfare class grows, the working class is shrinking, more and more taxes are going to need to be taken from the working class because the majority are starting to fall into that welfare category. Now, will that happen? I don't know. But if Hillary Clinton gets in office, I can guarantee you that the burden of us in the working class is going to be more devastating and the welfare class will grow. And who knows what? I know that that particular system has toppled governments in the past and left them open for the picking. If we are to hit an economic crisis as well, we're also left open for the picking. And who and what country is going to open their doors to America? Could it be China, who owns 10% of our debt? Will they call up that debt when we are in our most critical mode? Are they putting together this AIIB bank in order to rise up their empire in the last days? Are they pushing their currency as the world currency? I know that there are many signs that they have put on the streets in China saying theirs is the world currency. And this is something we know that China wants to be. It wants to be the powerhead. It wants to be the spearhead. We already know they have one of the world's largest army, 2 million some odd and going up. They're a force to be reckoned with, and there's somebody that we in America should not be turning a blind eye to. Now, at least Trump is somewhat familiar and knows or is familiar about what is going on and wants to do tariff things on the country, which I find fascinating and great. Hillary Clinton, on the one hand, wants to communicate and cooperate. Now, there's different, and obviously they both do this on some level, but nonetheless, will there be a day of a reckoning here in America when all the crap hits the fan? Anyhow, I wanted to bring all these statistics to you and let you do with it what you will. I'll leave every link below that you've seen on the screen. Well, anyhow, thanks again for tuning in to my channel. I truly appreciate all of you guys out there, and I love each and every single one of you. With that, please don't forget to check out my partners here. One is my Protovite. I will leave a link below. Also, the website on the screen, you can check it out. They've got the Protovite and also the Brain Reward. If you feel like you have a lot of brain farts, that's an awesome product to use. My son and my father are taking it. Great stuff, and it's really been helping them. Also, www.getthetea.com. Please check out some of their items as well. They have olive leaf extract, which in both liquid form and in pill form. I personally prefer the liquid form over the pill, but I love them both, and they do great things for your cardiovascular health, as well as many, many other things. Well, anyhow, thanks again for tuning in, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This is Lisa Haven signing off.